And right before that kick, Bobby McCray came up to me and said, "I'll put 200 in your locker if you make this." I don't even think I had $200 in my bank account just getting out of college.
I am just so pleased to have with us today a good friend who I think most of you will recognize immediately, but he's someone who was very special to the history of New Orleans, particularly around the Super Bowl era, 2009, 2010. And that is the Super Bowl kicker, Garrett Hartley. And so we're going to spend a few minutes with him right now and just see what's kicking, so to speak.
Yeah. Just let's get the show started with the pun. But no, Mark, happy to be here. Love what you're doing now. Plus the logo is pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, as long as I keep the silver hair, it'll work, right?
Hey man, I think mine's coming in fast. So,
again, we could talk about so many things, and I do want to discuss with you what you're doing presently. But tell us what got you involved in football in general. I know you came out of Texas. Grew up in Texas, but you went across state to another school.
Right. So I grew up my whole life playing soccer, actually, and I was fairly good at it. But I had an opportunity to potentially go to college for soccer, and as a freshman, I was blessed to be starting on varsity. And we just moved from Keller to South Lake, and so it was a chance for me to play with my older brother and my friends there. And I was the starting running back on the freshman football team. That's how you make friends in Texas. You play football. And well, I was the same size I am now when I was 14. And so my dad put a stop to that rather quickly. He said, absolutely not. You can just kick. And I'm like, Dad, if they're just going to make fun of me. And he said, I don't care. It's not worth it. And there I was out there at 14, hitting 55, 60-yard field goals, kind of messing around, and started to stop some guys and coaches saying, hey, you might have a future at this. And, by the end of my junior year, I had a full commitment to the University of Oklahoma.
Wow. So it starts there. And then, of course, you finish Oklahoma. And did you have professional ranks in your goal as a life achievement?
I think every little kid has that goal. I remember, just kind of like screwing the football down in the grass and then, kicking it over the street in between two trees and trying not to take out the window. But initially, I wasn't really sure, and then started to get pretty serious the summer between my sophomore and junior year, and went out there and had a pretty good year. Was up. I think I was a finalist that year for the Groza. So started to kind of turn some heads, and not a lot of attempts my senior year, and maybe that's why. But after that, I knew I would have a chance to go pro.
That's great. And it's our fortune that New Orleans was able to have you on the team, because we've relived, I'm sure, in many conversations about what happened playing Minnesota and kicking our way into the Super Bowl, which you were responsible for.
Certainly, picked a good day to be right on that one.
That's right. It's good. Speaking of the Saints, I have to ask you, what do you think the Saints mean to the city of New Orleans?
From my tenure, it's a sign of hope. It's for the community, especially, when they came back with Sean and Drew in 2006 after Katrina. And I wasn't here for that, but obviously going back and watching the documentaries and things, this team gave the city and all the Saints fans throughout the country, and even if you weren't fans of the team, but respecting on what they went through and how uplifting they were to helping get this community back together again.
Yeah, very special. All right, let's shift off football for a moment.
Uh-oh.
No, it's all good. From a standpoint of just Garrett Hartley, the gentleman, the family man, what do you do to relax? I mean, I think people always want to know, here's a professional football player. What do they do in their spare time? What is it that keeps you kind of enthusiastic about life?
Well, I mean, right now it's definitely the golf game, and far and few times if I get to hunt anymore. That was kind of my stress release when I was playing. Not hunting, but just going out there and I've been shooting guns since an early age, and I love that you can always get better.
Yeah, I bet. So you have guests coming in and out of the city all the time, I'm sure, family and friends. What's your typical thing you advise them to do when they're in New Orleans? What are the top things that you'd like them to see or eat?
Well, the eating part kind of comes easy, and I know I'm not as well vested as Kate, but I just tell them that there's really no place that you can go that's going to be disappointing here in New Orleans. Just don't go to a chain restaurant here. Go to places that you can't experience back home. And very fortunate, we have, R&Os close to my house, and all the way to, you come downtown and just a lot of, whether it's, Emeralds or now you're getting into some of the boutique restaurants. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. Think about, you mentioned R&Os in the Bucktown area. That's what's so great about New Orleans, that there are restaurants in every neighborhood and,
Right.
and every price point. Tell us what you're doing now. What keeps Garrett Hartley busy?
Yeah. So I'm one of three managing partners of a company called Reclaim Energy, and we have a HVAC technology that we are able to retrofit onto current systems, whether it's residential or commercial, and we have projects going on throughout the city, throughout the state, and now getting hopefully some backing from the Louisiana economic team out there, as well as some great meetings with Entergy to maybe start working on some rebate systems here. And then we have jobs going on across the U.S. as well right now with a lot of hotels. So it's definitely keeps you on your toes. Not a lot of time for golf anymore, but look, we'll pick that up here in a couple of years when things do what we feel that they're going to do.
That's good. Well, energy savings always work out, right?
Yeah, last time I heard it's, if you could save monthly off your energy bill, and we know how the summers are here. So that's one thing I don't miss, training camp.
That's great. It's training camp. Speaking of training camp, any stories you want to share, or can you share anything from a training camp? Or the most interesting training camp experience you had, let's put it that way. I'm sure there were several.
I would say maybe not a training camp, but how the Saints brought me in, in 2008, because I was the third kicker that year. They had drafted Taylor Melhoff out of Wisconsin, I believe, over me. And then it didn't work out with him. They brought in Grammatica. Then they tried to bring back Melhoff. So I was the third kicker. And so, at that point, the team's kind of, I wouldn't say struggling, but not having a year like they anticipated after the 2006 season. And so you had to earn their respect quickly. And the very first practice after they signed me, the team's coming out together on the field. And mainly you get 3 to 4 kicks. This time I think Payton had me hit like 8 or 10. And, taking me back, like to 40, 48, and the ball's climbing, hitting the wall. And the guys are now yelling, "Bring him back, coach. Pull him back. Get him back." So we get there. I think we're hitting like 55, 56, and then they bring me back, I think maybe 60, 62 or something like that my first day in practice, and didn't miss. And then the next day we were outside, so I got a little bit of respect then. And then we're outside, and I had no idea what Sean was talking about, but it was a strong right to left wind. We're maybe at 46 yards. And these guys are a lot bigger, okay, than what, it's kind of like watching NASCAR on TV. You don't understand how fast those cars are going. Same thing in practice. I'm watching around, these guys fly. And the joke was, Mark, that everyone always wanted my job in practice, just not on game day. But this actual particular instance, Sean was like, if he makes it, we only have 6. If he misses, we have 12. No idea what he's talking about. I'm like, okay, this is your day to become friends with some linemen. And I corrected for the other one, and was able to get it through the pipes. And right before that kick, Bobby McCray came up to me and said, "I'll put 200 in your locker if you make this." I don't even think I had $200 in my bank account just getting out of college, because I hadn't been paid yet. And so it was just like, and we got it. And the next morning, he's there before I walked in, staring me down, and there was 2 fresh bills in the top of my locker. And once again, he picked a good day to be right.
That's right. What an incentive. What an incentive.
that was. You definitely want the big guys on your side.
What would you want to consider to be your legacy? And I know you're still young, so it's hard to talk about legacy, but you've accomplished so much. When people write about you, what would that look like?
From a football perspective, I would like to say that clutch would come up in big time kicks. My post history was pretty solid. And from a personal standpoint, just being a fun, outgoing guy that loves to entertain and genuinely just cares for his friends and family. That's what I feel people would take from me, especially my inner circle.
Yeah.
And just really just try to have the most positive out mind, and it's not always easy. You go from football, then you kind of revamp a career, and so the people that have stuck with me, just their acknowledgement of kind of the tenacity and that driven mind I've had to, okay, if this doesn't work, what's next? Kind of attitude.
Yeah. Keep moving.
Yep.
Keep moving. That's excellent. Your legacy is going to be tremendous. Just the experiences that you've had, but what you've given back as well. Take us to that moment. We're at the Minnesota game. We're playing for a spot in the Super Bowl, and it's time for you to be on the field to kick the field goal. What was the interaction that you had with Coach Payton at that moment?
Yeah, it's man, this is like vivid. I can. It was weird though. So I was such in the zone and kind of like focused, and I heard he was talking. And then he said something about Florida Lee protection's been great all day, and but the one thing that really resonated with me walking out onto that field, he said, "This is why, son, you deserve to be here." And that's still today. I know I have sleeves on, but that gives me chills.
I just got
thinking about that's the last thing he told me before we walked out on that field. As a team, as a unit, and everyone did their job perfectly to execute that. That ultimately, I would joke that I'm the last piece of the puzzle because you got the snapper. It all starts with him. You have the protection. Obviously, Brunell held that thing perfect, and it came off my foot. And I don't know if you grew up playing baseball, man. It was just you hit a home run, you don't feel it come off the bat. Same thing. I didn't feel it come off my foot, and flushed it pretty well. And before I know it, I have 300-pound guys on top of me, and then 5 seconds later, we're up on the shoulders.
It was amazing. I happened to be fortunate to be sitting in the stands that day, and the tears that flowed from everyone. It was amazing, the gift that was given to the city that day by you and the rest of the team.
Yeah, it's always fun to see a grown man still come up to me and say, "You made me cry back when."
And to this very day, when someone thinks about that moment, those same chills occur. It's amazing. All right, let's bring this home with this last question. In 5 words or less, why do you love New Orleans?
The way the city cares.
That's beautiful. That works.
The way the city cares.
Thank you. Garrett, thank you very much for being with us today. Appreciate it.
As always, look forward to the next breakfast outing.
Yes, let's go have a breakfast at our usual place.
Absolutely.
Which is Betsy's, by the way, on Canal Street. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you do some more great things around the community.
Certainly excited, and here shortly we'll be in a position to really start being able to give back.
Great. All right, y'all. Thank y'all very much for listening in to Garrett Hartley, a great kicker from the New Orleans Saints, a great man, great human. Thanks.